Hello, my friend. Hopefully you are doing great. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna share you about the class constructors in detail. So basically, you already knew how to create a new instance from a class, right? So in this tutorial, we are going to deep dive more about constructor, the thing. Uh, Let me try. Okay. So the thing helps us to build an instance from a class, and we call it a constructor. And we can call a constructor by using the new keyword that we already knew. So sorry the background noise around if any. So here, the thing here is you already knew about methods overloading in the previous lesson, right? So that means we can apply the methods overloading in the constructor. That means we can have more than constructor with the same name. And in Java, as a constructor, it should have a same name with the class name. That means if you create another method with another name that is different with the class name, you are just create a normal method inside the class, not a constructor. So the first thing you need to remember that a constructor in a class should have the same name, exactly same thing with the class name, okay? If you create a different name, it will be just a normal method, okay? And then it's just like a normal function. You see the double bracket here and the body inside. But we can have more than one constructor. So by default, if you don't declare any constructor inside, we will have a default constructor, something like this one. But if you want to have more than one constructor, so you can have more than one constructor. So in this case, if you build a default robot cat instance with nothing inside, but in this case, I want to create an instance of this robot cat, and I want to put with the name and the color as well. So my new cat, my new instance will have the name and the color. Okay. So just go back to our shortcut and I will show you a demonstration how to do that. So you create a new package, and for lesson 14, and you create a new Java class file with the name robotcat. Enter. So inside I will declare two property. You already knew about property attribute, I mean. So I will declare private string with the name and private string color. I will declare the first constructor, that's a public robot cat with the same name with the class name, but it is a function. And inside the body, I didn't do anything. That means I just want to create a new instance with a default thing. And I'm going to create another constructor. But now I want to overload the methods. So I will put string name and string color. That means when I use this constructor to create a new instance, I need to input the name and the color to create a new instance. And I will put back to the attribute value here. So this name equal the input name, and this dot color equal the input color. And that means when I create the new thing, those attributes will have the input value. Okay. So let's say I will have some gesture. So I will say that public string guest name. So that means I will return this dot name, and I will publish string get color, and I will return this color. And we will try the difference between the default robot cat and the robot cat that is created with this constructor. Okay, so we can create a new main method inside here and to run it. So I will declare a robot cat here with the name default robot cat equal new robot cat. So when I use the new keyword, that means it will invoke the constructor, but in this case, because there is no parameter, that means I'm referring to this constructor, okay? And I will create a new robot cat. You can use Control D to duplicate a line here. So, and I change to robot cat with name and color. So I want to input the name as something like meow meow and the color like black here. So when I use something like this with two parameters, that means I'm referring this method, this constructor. So I will have two different methods cat with from two constructor. So let's say I will use system out, and I will use the default robot cat instance dot guest color, and I will use the guest name to see what's inside the default robot cat, and I will do the same for the robot cat with name and color dot get color, and then we get name. Okay, so let's try to run this main method. So you see, for the default robot cat, when you get color or get name, it will return null, because when you use this one, nothing inside this body. So that means it didn't do anything, and by default, a new instance created will have a no value here. You see no value here. And for the second one, robot cat, we have the meow meow as name and the black as the color. So that's why I can get them out. So for example, if I have something private string name equal cat, and the color is white, and I run again. So you see, white and cat, black and meow meow. So why we have that? Because when you use the default constructor here, you create a new instance, and then you use the getter to return the value. But because we already have the init value here, so that's why you have those value. So basically, oftenly we don't have any init value for any attributes. It means that it doesn't mean that it is not permitted, but just often we don't have anything like that. If you have some common value, we can put in some static value or some constant value that I will share you later. But for the attribute of a class, so when you create, we don't often put something like this. Okay, so I just delete them. Okay, so we have, maybe you have something like public robot cat, but in this case you just want to input the name, and for example you have the name, and then that name will be labeled on the robot cat, and the color is always null, and then people can color later, right? So you can have something like string name here, and you set it back this dot name equal the input name. right? And you can create a new instance. So we have, you already know that we can declare more than one method in this class. But now try to delete this one. I want to say more. You see, we don't have a dash constructor. So, but before, when we didn't declare anything about the constructor, we still use this new keyword, right? So let's try to delete this one as well. So you see here, we can still use the new robot cat. Here, delete this one as well. We can still use the new robot cat. That means we can still invoke a constructor. So as I told you, by default, if you don't declare any constructor, we always have a default constructor without any parameter. But when you have a constructor inside, you cannot use the default constructor anymore. So when you call the default constructor, that means you are not finding it in the class. So that's why at the beginning I need to declare the default constructor although I didn't do anything inside. So remember, when you want to declare another constructor with parameters, so that means you need to declare implicit way, implicitly the constructor like this. If not, it will raise an error when you create a default instance. Okay. Okay. So that is so about the class constructor. Let me see. So whether I have anything to share you in this tutorial. I think that is enough for this tutorial about the class constructor. So, okay, just remember, class constructor will have the name with the same name with class, okay? Always same name. The second thing, you can have more than one constructor in a class. But remember, when you declare a new one, that is different with the default. That means you have the parameter inside. You need to declare the default as well, okay? And the final one, remember again for the class, the tutorial that's about methods overridings, because you see, it's just similar to that lesson, right? So try to practice yourself again and see you from the next tutorial. Bye for now.